This episode of the Fix Podcast is brought to you by Sensi Medical Cannabis House. Cultivate, elevate, and inspire. How about we just use them tagline?
There you go. There you go.
This podcast is also brought to you by
Lothian's Boutique. Follow them on Instagram at Lothian's Boutique. And of course, guys, check out their store in Portmore. It's 23 West Trade Way. Greater Portmore. I know, that's not Greater Portmore. In Portmore. For your lovely 10 grade, 12, 15 grade. Oh my God, it's the best hair ever.
This video is brought to you by Shortcut Barbers, located at 9 Brandstraff Square. Steve, big up your damn self. And also, I'm leaving out somebody.
Lulu's Holistics. Follow them on Instagram at Lulu's Holistic. And of course, check out their website, www.lulusholistics.com. And guys, they have a store in America. You can check out their stores in New York and Florida.
Yo, people, welcome back to the Fix Podcast. It's your boy Nar here with Ari, and we have a pair of special guests in the building. Joining us, as we said, we will be speaking at the JMC, Jamaica Music Conference. For some reason, they invited us. We're here to verify if this invite is legit. So we have the CEO and founder of the event,
yes,
Jamaica Music Conference, that we humbly accepted the invite to. This Saturday, that's when we'll be speaking about. It starts on Friday. It's from the 13th of February to the 16th of February. Right? So the founder, Kwasi Bonsu.
He's looking for clarification because I was like, yeah, question.
Okay, I was and it's accompanied by a lovely artist who goes by the name of Amberly. I'm getting that name right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so welcome officially.
Yes, and I want to just greet your listening audience in that divine name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I and Empress Menen. That's customary.
Which is
so
right.
Now that we got that out of the way, I want to say it's a pleasure and it's an honor for me to be on this platform. And I said before we started filming, don't take what the item do simple or underestimate the power based on the consistency, because that consistency that made JMC reach out to Nightly Fix, because some of your interviews are memorable. They will go down in the history of the music. Some people we don't get to see unless we see it upon your platform. And the diaspora is locked in to what you all are doing. So don't take your thing lightly. Don't make them call you down. Don't make them make you feel like, no. Mr. Narrow stand up.
Retire.
Mr. Narrow stand up. Mr. Narrow
calls.
I saw
enough code there. Mr. Kwasi know what he's talking about.
I saw Narrow stand up in one piece of fire with an artist dispute, and him hold him corner and him hold himself professionally. Him never lash out. And I said, this I employee of a future in journalism and the industry. He know how to utilize the moment, you know, and don't get the moment destroy you, because you could have fold, you know.
That is true.
So definitely, but let me let
shaky or floppy.
Yes. No, and these are the things, because are you guys familiar with the Breakfast Club?
Of course.
I've never heard of that program in my life.
I have.
Okay.
I have.
So you would have known a virgin named Charlemagne. Yeah. And a lot of people in foreign, that's what them say, like now are the Jamaican version of the Charlemagne
and
type.
And then I would tell him that I don't eat.
No, you say in front of the grown man.
Remember, say Charlemagne don't tell you same of mental trauma, you know.
That is true.
When you hear him say all of them things, they're part of the trauma where him experience. A lot of our black people are traumatized. So when you hear them sniff this and eat that, a trauma make them go there, so. You know?
I didn't mean
serious.
to laugh at that one.
No,
that's a legit thing that
no, it's a serious
right
thing.
there.
I can't go deep in many topics, you know, but at JMC, we are here. I'm being focused because we're about the music industry. I want the beautiful Amber Lee to introduce herself.
Yes. My name is Amber Lee, as he said. I'm from New York. That's why you hear the foreign accent.
I hear it.
I do music. I sing. I do R&B, sometimes like trap, soul. I have pop records. I have art, like reggae. So I like dabble in everything because my parents are from Jamaica, my dad, and then my mom is from Trinidad.
Oh.
So I have that culture behind me. But yeah, I'm gonna be at the Conference. So I'm just here with the vibes. I'm here for a week, so I'm just soaking it all in.
All right, so since we have you on the mic, so how did you got introduced to JMC? Like, did they reach out to you and ask you to be a part of it? Oh.
My dad, through Sharon, knows him. It was Sharon Burke.
Yes.
Oh, you know what I mean? I'm gonna say Sharon.
It's a very common name.
Sorry. Sharon Burke told my dad about it.
Okay.
They work closely. So yeah, as soon as he told me about it, I was down with it. At this point, I'm with whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's gonna propel me forward and help somebody else, you know what I'm saying? But
so you're gonna be a part of the conference? So you're a speaker, singer, you're singing, you're going to entertain us. What?
I got a seat, you know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna be talking.
Okay.
So it's cool.
So what's the topic? What you gonna explore?
How to like sustain a career in music and like talking about the ups and downs, like as an artist. What's the hardest parts for me, and how can I like through my experience help somebody else that's like up and coming and trying to do what I'm doing basically.
So are you independent or are you signed with a major?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm independent right now.
So you've recorded songs, they're up on YouTube.
Yeah, I have a project out that's been out for a while. It's called Many Good Age. Has like 5 songs on there, and I'm now slowly like releasing singles from my upcoming project now. So,
okay. So you're in the promo gear right now.
Yeah,
right? Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So your music is a bit eclectic, that you're saying. So you do a little reggae. So have you done an official reggae album, or is just that you can't sing
a whole
reggae?
Album, but
or single? Sorry.
Yeah. My first project had a pop record. It has a reggae, so it was like a mix of just different genres, and it was also like a test trial for me just to feel what it was like to have a project out. So that had a whole bunch of genres on it, but I still currently like my moods vary. So if I'm in the studio and I feel like creating what I feel like creating, then it just comes out. I don't really like box myself in to say like, oh, I'm a pop artist, or like, I'm trying to just let myself feel it out, and whatever comes out, I just.
So from listening to you, you said that your dad knows Sharon.
Yeah.
So is your dad involved in music, or?
Yeah, he actually is.
Who's your dad? I feel like your dad is famous.
Rossi. I don't know. A lot of people know him by Rossi. But his name is Paul Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, he works with Shaggy's camp.
Okay.
That's how he knows Sharon Burke and everybody. Like they work closely together.
So that's how you got involved in music too. Am I assuming?
Basically.
Okay.
And he, from like maybe my 9th grade in high school, he had built a studio for me, and I never like
built a studio for you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it wasn't just for me, because he enjoys music too, like because he produces sometimes. So he built it, and not until I had like a class basically with everything I had in the basement in my high school, I started like I got introduced to producing and creating my own video, and I had that whole experience in my school, and realized like, oh, I got this in my basement. So from then, that's when I started like writing my own songs, and so he's really the one that introduced me to like the artist I am today. So
Nice. Your eyelash them real?
No.
Oh.
I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I'm like them look distractingly good.
They
like,
look bad?
that? No, good. Like them
Okay.
look like them real too. Like, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you.
I just had to get that out there. You have any Jamaican roots?
She said her dad is Jamaican.
Well, yeah, my dad.
Okay, so like otherwise, how often like do you come out here? I was distracted by
once
the
or two
eyelashes.
times.
That's what
No, it's okay, but like 1 to 2 times a year.
I'll go.
So
For the past like 3-4 years, I've been out here every year.
Okay.
I'll go.
So is it just to get a feel of the island? You work with producers, or what?
Well, yeah.
Both.
Last year I was working with a lot of producers. Like that was my main reason for coming. And now I'm like in promo mode, so I'm like just trying to get my name out there, my music, and really pushing myself.
Nice.
So Kwasi, we'll get to the Jamaica Music Conference now. What inspired you to take this initiative to?
Well,
so let's do this.
It's in its 7th year, by the way.
This in its 7th year. I'm a graduate of Howard University School of Law. And while I was at the law school, I learned about this thing called intellectual property. And immediately, being born in Jamaica, I grew up in Toronto. I understood what that concept means for an island like us that produce so much music and content. We probably produce the most content per capita of any place in the world. We have artists doing 10 songs a day, all kind of craziness. going on. Every community have about 50 artists. And so when I realized that, I said, you look at a place like Dubai that has oil and they're making all of this money from this oil, which is a finite resource. And we have this infinite resource, which is our intellectual property. I was like, we need to do something. So I started a publishing company with one of my colleagues from law school. To launch it, we came down to Jamaica. We did a one-day panel at the University of the West Indies. I'm one of those diaspora people that come back and forth, all of the time. So growing up, I was coming to Jamaica every Christmas. I would be here. Sometime in the summer, we would come here. You know what I mean? So I'm one of those Jamaicans from I hit high school, probably more Jamaican than a Jamaican that live here. There's a lot of us. We were into sound system culture, clashing with sound cassettes, you know what I mean? So we went deep into the culture. So I've always been deeply connected and rooted with Jamaica. So after we did that panel, we had a lot of people that were coming up to us and saying that was a great thing. And then I had an opportunity professionally as an attorney to organize a catalog of a reggae legend named Ja Life in New York City, who was an associate of John Joe Laws. I don't know if you all know John Joe Laws and the Volcano catalog. Volcano was a sound system. John Joe Laws was one of those
deep cuts.
Yes. Oh, I'm ready. So get yourself in tune.
Just a lyric right now.
We go deep. All right. So John Joe Laws is a man that, one of them man where in between, they would say in the streets, but also lover of music. You knew all of the artists them, so you could get them to voice. All of the producers, so you could get them to voice. Ja Life was a Ras that was there, who was the mad scientist in the studio that was putting all of these things together. So, for example, Barrington Levy, them early sang them on the intercom when me tell them to come. All them is part of
I know him.
And I know that song.
Murderer.
I know that one.
Yeah, all of them sung there. 100 weight of cali weed coming from Sintan, which was sampled by Ja Rule and also KRS One, which is how my brethren became involved in terms of licensing these works in the US. So Ja Life called us in to organize his catalog, and we quickly realized there was no paperwork for a lot of the songs. Some of those songs had been resolved and had gone through a process, but he had thousands of songs. And in Jamaica, the culture, there's not a paperwork culture.
Yeah, so what do you mean by that though?
So, for example, to license a song for a motion picture, for a film, for television, all of these things, they want to know who are the owners. You have to go to the publishing. If there's a band that created that rhythm, each person in that band that created the rhythm would have an ownership interest. Because that's how the copyright is created. But in Jamaica, a lot of time a producer would just get musicians to come. They would voice the rhythm. The producer would own the rhythm, and then those musicians would never be compensated.
So the producer owned everything, not just the rhythm, the lyrics, just the song in its entirety.
A lot of time in Jamaican culture, what happens is that the artist and the artist will be given a money for come and voice. After him get that money there, him don't get $1 from that song.
We've heard many of the stories.
Yeah. Exactly, other than touring.
Sometimes they don't even get touring though.
Sometimes they don't even get touring. And likewise with the musicians, and I'm talking different than when a producer directs musicians to make a song, because that's a work for hire. Then the producer would own it by right, because it's his concept that he's hiring musicians to now compose. This is much different than if we're all a band and she have a bass and me have a guitar and you have drum and we just vibing and we come up with a rhythm. He would actually
have the drum.
He would have the drum.
Yeah, he play drum for real.
and then Aria sing. So this is
not she do sing for it.
Yes. You see?
She does not.
You see if Aria sing.
Amber sing.
Amber got it.
My friends hate me.
And later on, we need to put Amber on the spot and show her when you come a yard, you have to come right. But that's up for another time.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that, so if we're all jamming and we come up with a rhythm, then that technically is all of our creations, our collective work.
Right.
There needs to be a split sheet where we say, you have 10%, you have 15%, the person come up with the bridge, get 20%, and we divide up. That can be done in any way. So for publishing, And this is the ownership. So if you buy a house, you get a deed.
Yeah.
For every recording, there are multiple deeds that go toward that recording. This is how you earn.
Wow.
So learning all of this is a long story if you get to a short point of the founding of the JMC. But to get to that point now where you are earning from your work, you have to literally treat your thing like a business. You have to have all of your paperwork, your documentation. Each song you have should have a file that has who the producer is, how the ownership, the splits, how all of that is going, so that when you submit it to the performance rights organizations, the JCAP in Jamaica or ASCAP, BMI, CSAC in America, these agencies now collect for you. Sound Exchange as well, which would collect for the master recording. So there's all of these ways you can monetize your intellectual property, but if you don't know, you will not be able to monetize. And so knowing this, getting that response from the first panel, we decided, you know what, we're going to go to Edna Manley, we're going to do another panel. So 2013, we started with our first full day of panel discussion. So before we just did one panel, and actually I had a video launch because that was when I was in artist mode. But because there are so many artists and so few of people doing what I'm doing, I had to put my artist side to the side. I had to put my artist to the side. So I'm a repressed artist. So anytime I can bust out in a lyrics, you know.
He said he's going to come to our freestyle Friday.
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to burn up the whole thing, Jamaica tear down. But that's for another time. I'm an attorney and a founding person of the Jamaica Music Conference today.
Right.
So the first year we had Rory Stone Love, we had Bob Andy, we had Protege, we had Carolyn Cooper, Simone Harris, we had different people talking about Ibo Cooper, Barbara Blake Hanna talking about her reggae film festival, and it was also very well received. So, and that time I was doing it under the publishing company. But then in 2014, we decided we had to create a complete company just to do the conference because it's really a full-time work to do the conference. Over the years, what it's evolved into a network. So we're actually creating a network of music industry professionals, because what we found out in doing this work is that most of our, especially black people in the music industry, are part-time doing music. And this is a problem. So you find that you like yourselves, you have a passion, but you can't put the fullness into that passion because
it don't make you money.
It don't make you the money, but it can and it will.
That was a little too passionate.
You were listening to the Joe Budden podcast. I heard a little clippings. Them brethren were doing it for free until they got a big thing from Spotify. And what I want to tell Jamaica is that the music industry is recovering. There's a lot of capital because the streaming is now starting to balance out the thing. So they're looking to invest. So even your podcast, you're going to have people that come to you that want to invest. They want to take some of your ownership. They want equity in your brand, all of these things. So you guys are going to have these challenges very soon. I have to make decisions of, do you want to keep ownership and butter? Or do you want to try to find a way to license and get it syndicated and get it in different markets and all of these things? If you keep doing what you're doing, trust me, because reggae and Jamaica and dancehall, they're just on the tip. We're at a crossroads, and what is coming is going to be much greater than anything that has been in the past, because we're in the digital era.
And funny that you should say that, because I feel like, especially from our conversations with people, it feel as if it's dying because most people cuss and complain that, like people, American people especially, or American acts, they take the dancehall, they resample it, they rebrand it, and it feels as if it's dying, like Jamaican music is dying. And the biggest complaint is that we don't have a Jamaican music industry, especially what you're saying, where people don't have the licensing and the publishing, and just the overall business is kind of questionable. And that's putting it mildly. So you feel like, especially with this Jamaica Music Conference, you feel like there is a shift happening and it's not as gloom and doom as we perceive it to be?
Or others perceive it to be.
And a lot of time we focus on the negative. So we always have positive things in the industry that are happening, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to be that connective tissue, because what happens in Jamaica, we're only probably 3 people away from slavery era. We have to recognize. Sometimes we're hard on
Three
ourselves.
people.
Yeah.
Ah.
1838, they said slavery abolished in
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Not because the British wanted to, because Sam Sharp kicked them tail and them get frightened and they realized that they could not sustain this institution any longer. Jamaica helped crash the institution of slavery. I don't know if you know that. Sam Sharp, Rebellion, study it.
Black History Month.
Black History Month. but the other thing is that if you think of someone born in 1838 and take them to 1900, how much is that if you do the maths?
Don't act that. That's the worst thing you could have done.
Worst thing.
That is 62 years.
So that person born at the end of slavery and 62 in 1900. So 1900 to 2000 hour, 100 years.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Maybe 2 people, and then we're in a 2020. So just think about. So a long time, a lot
I
of
get
time.
what you're saying,
You
no.
understand?
3 generations away
We think
from
about slavery like it's some
I'm about to say
ancient.
like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Give credit where it's credit where it's due.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready up your voice, them going to test you. All right.
Yeah.
So these, a lot of time we're hard on ourselves, and one of the things that plague us in Jamaica, because remember we were bred to be tribal. They tried to because they
Separate
didn't
us.
want the rebellions on each plantation, so they breed us in a way where. Or program us in a way where we don't trust each other. So the music industry currently is working in silos. You have this camp over here work, this camp over here work, this camp over here work, and it's very disjointed. So it prevents certain opportunities that would be able to lift up the entire industry, because maybe somebody who invest in this part of the industry don't have a good experience, and them say, you know what, I'm not going to invest in the industry anymore. You know, and
Because they deal with one set of person instead of trying to.
Yes, and there's no other way for them to tap into the wider industry. It just depends on who you link. You know what I mean? So that's why the conference is so important, because we're creating a platform where the wider industry can come and meet credible people. You know what I mean? Where credible people, you know, who have a track record, and you saw on the website the type of people that we're going for, you know, the Shawnee B, BBC Extra, Specs the Boss, all of these different people who we're flying in, because they're ready and they've been waiting for something like this. So the whole point of what we're doing now is creating a network. We're getting ready to launch a mobile app too. It won't be ready for the conference, but basically almost like a LinkedIn for the music industry.
Nice.
We've been doing summit series. We've been traveling to California, Atlanta, Chicago. We do smaller conferences, Toronto, meeting face to face with the professionals who are on the front lines of keeping the music alive, because them must suffer, you know. The promoter them will keep the little dance, and then what happens is they build up an artist to where they have a pulling power to build in 5,000 people. That artist signed to Ticketmaster Live Nation deal, who will book them for 3 years straight. So all of the Caribbean promoters get locked out of that. So you built up this artist to this level, and now you cannot reap when they have the pulling power to actually return on that investment.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that are happening in our industry.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So if we don't come together, then we languish, and then other people will come and take the fruits of our labor. And if we look at hip hop as a blueprint, hip hop was in the same place as dancehall. Remember, say it come out of dancehall, Cool Herc, brought the toasting culture to the Bronx.
Who will be at the conference?
Who will be at the
I
conference?
was just reading today.
You see that, the Gleaner?
story.
We got a Gleaner story, so big up the Gleaner. You'll be there. And if you look at what happened, it was the European Jews who invested in the music. If you look at the early labels.
Ruben. I can't remember his name from
Rick
Def Jam.
Rubin?
Yeah.
Rick Rubin
Yeah.
was one.
And when I watched the NWA, straight out of Compton, it was a Jewish guy who said that was.
When you look at research all of the early record labels, they took a chance
Yeah.
on hip hop because they recognized what was there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time we as black people, black radio was fighting hip hop when it first came out, just like they fought dancehall in Jamaica and reggae in Jamaica. But they took a chance, they invested a lot of capital, and hip hop now is the #1 genre on the planet. And the only reason they know that is because of streaming.
Yeah.
Because of the digital. Because remember, they were telling us rock and roll are run things. And then streaming come and we could track it. They realized that no.
You can't hide it anymore, right?
And rock and roll is a black music too.
Started from, yes.
You see? So it started from black roots. So this is all black history too. You know, we're keeping in the theme.
Which is right.
And the key that I want to just emphasize is that as Jamaicans, we have an opportunity. Our brand is so powerful. We're a cultural superpower. And if we don't really focus and change our concept of how we view the industry and the music business as artists, this is not just a hustling. You cannot just have your brethren manage you and you tell your brethren what to do. And the two of you just blind out there. And you're leaving so many opportunities. You know, many artists don't want to do no interviews and don't realize it's interviews get you new fans. Eh?
That all was personal.
You see? They are watching it, you know. Javi, I watch it, you know, Javi.
You're speaking to us. Kwasi, you're speaking to us.
You know how much time I watch?
You talking some shit.
We're the issue.
You see, you know how many times I watch a Breakfast Club interview of someone I never know who them is, and then I'm going to go watch them video to see what I'm dealing with, come and laugh during them interview or them say something interesting.
We have been told that labels out there labels promoters pay specific attention to our interviews to know who for book, who for push, who for do all of these. We've been told.
No, it's true. And artists need to know that. And on Sunday, we're having Winfred Williams do an Art of the Interview workshop.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time you see people on Winfred, them are pin around in them chair. They might kick them foot, they might look down, they might do all kind of thing where distracting from the interview.
Oh yeah, talk about.
No, but it's nervousness, you know, because you're nervous.
Why you want to get in trouble? Why you want Kwasi get in trouble?
Them nervous, you know.
Yeah.
So, and it's not because remember in Motown, you know, you have to go through an artist development.
That's what we're saying.
I feel like
A&R is lacking in this.
It's lacking.
This overall, like artists don't have the development. Them just think that because them can do a one song or the one song hit, like that's it. But there's so much more that it takes. That's even why them say people like Rihanna and Beyonce and all the other top artists, they're so manufactured because in a way, in a sense, they are. And then it's after a while them get established now, them rebel against that manufactured look or feeling.
Also because nowadays, like it's especially with social media and YouTube and just like the freedom to put whatever you want out whenever you want. Like it's easy to just say I created this with my bro and I think it's dope, so let's put it out. And like promotion is like the first thing on everybody's mind because I want to go viral. I want to like get the most likes. So like social media to me is like everybody's first priority right now. So I think that's at least with like the younger generation coming up, like everybody trying to like grind and get to their goal as an artist. I think that's everybody's first like
but social media
priority.
is effective, you know.
Very
that's
though.
even how Lil Nas X he had like weeks, months on the chart because it got viral. It got it pushed from TikTok and SoundCloud and social
TikTok,
media.
like all these new apps. Like, it's
You're
working.
right.
Kwasi, I want to ask you something though. If you like, would that lead into something?
Yes.
Just go into it. I find that reggae artists are more organized than dancehall artists. I just to them that's a preset. I don't know a top tier reggae artist who doesn't have a personal assistant. Like there's not one that I can say, oh, like they all have personal assistants. Why do you think that reggae artists are more organized than dancehall artists?
I think reggae artists, you know, in terms of their touring, when they're going out, the exposure that they're going out, we have to understand dancehall artists, when they tour, they're mostly going to diaspora audiences. You know, if a song hot in Jamaica, the people in New York want to see it, Toronto want to see it, Miami want to see it. You know what I mean? All of the hot spots where they're Jamaican. So they're doing club dates at most of these things. When reggae artists gets popular, he's going to perform in Europe on the festivals. They're doing that whole festival scene. They might go South America. So they're going into that traditional touring band setting. And that touring band setting is not a game or a joke. Once you're not performing off of tracks and doing spot dates, you have a whole band of grown adults to feed, you have to put a business infrastructure in place or that's not going to sustain. So they're forced to become businesses very fast because if you're keeping a band on the road, and I represent promoters and things, remember say when the nights that they're not performing, when they're traveling, they have to pay a hotel, you have to pay a gas, you have to pay a driver, you have to pay all of these expenses. So the tour has to be maxed out in a way where it makes sense. So, you know, they have to really structure themselves as a business. Whereas dancehall, I can sit down, I can do some dub plate, may have sound system, call me, voice 2 dub plate, me go do 2 date, some promoter go link me, might be a man I wash some money, not maybe laundry, but in I do a thing. So me I get a high rate and high price. So me not really to feel it. So me not have to put that business structure in place. All I need is a song. So when my bank get low, me just come with a hot song and then me advice for 15
like I say
songs.
it's so easy. Easy for coming outside.
It's not easy, but I'm just showing you the mentality of why the dancehall artists are not putting that infrastructure, and they're notoriously hard to manage, you know, because they're not hurting for money. If you're a hot dancehall artist and you're dealing with sound system dub plate and you charge 500, the top man them a charge 1,500 for one song for a dub plate. So you can imagine you voice 10 songs for the day. This is US me talking now.
Yeah, of course.
You understand? So if a man call me for a show and I don't feel like it, or you know what I mean, a man a tell me say me have to go do an interview, me I say sure, I don't want to do an interview. You know what I mean? Why? Because I'm okay. But what happens to these artists is that when they're not hot now and they're not being able to cut the dub plates them, then they don't have that thing in place where that business infrastructure, where they're collecting royalties, where they're touring. Like Chronix don't have to make a next song for the rest of his life. Him can tour off him catalog right now for the rest of his life.
At 24, 5,
Protege.
27.
Protege. All of these artists, these reggae revival artists, they're smart. They don't have to make a next song again. Once you reach that top, Damian Marley don't have to
and
make
then
a
they
next
have
song.
the labels
Yes.
Grammy nominated.
You
That's
see,
a
all
big
of
look
these
as
things.
well.
You see what I say? And they make songs. And then the next thing with dancehall that I want to address, let me looking at the camera. You see this haul and pull culture where you come and you perform and you do 2 seconds of your song, and then you pull up and you're gone, you dash it
Oh
away.
God.
Because if I'm a new consumer, I don't know your music. You know what I mean? I have no idea
No,
what
but
the
song
song.
at a road.
You see?
Song around streets. We don't need to perform all of that.
You see me I say?
Dash. Big song. That's their mentality.
You see? So if I'm coming and I'm even seeing a clip on YouTube, there's nothing for me to sing along with. I can't learn the song. I can't learn the lyrics. So artists do themselves a disservice when them dash with them song. When you treat your music as disposable. You understand? And these are the things that artists have to understand. When you go to Chronix concert, people are sing. And I'm just using Chronix. I know Chronix and him team, and he's an example of someone who came from
he's
zero
a high example of
to where he is now, where he's packing
Profession,
stadiums,
right.
Yes.
So he's a good case study
Yeah.
in terms of when you go to his show, he's singing out the whole song.
Yep.
Right? And it's not boring because the people are sing with him. The people come to hear the song them and them get the song them. So you deliver a product and you deliver that product.
And he goes out of his way to make songs that fit in like stadium arenas. So,
Yes.
you know, so there's a group of people singing these songs.
And you have to think like that as
See
an
that too.
artist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got to think longevity. These are the songs. And you got to sing for the ladies too. You know? Too much
Even in
killing.
reggae?
Yeah, man.
Because reggae, I think reggae is more of a we are all one conscious.
It is, but the ladies will keep you on tour. They're the ones that will support you. They will
True.
come to your show them. They
True.
will buy the merchandise.
True.
They will do all of the things that you require. When I release my first project, I don't even know when that will be. Now artists, you know.
Remember, say that's repressed
Now
now.
artists, you know.
JMC.
Anytime.
That's the thing there.
Yeah. That's the thing there right now. But you see, when I release that, a Beer Woman song, I do, because that is a key demographic when you're building a base in music, sustainable. You have to sing. And when I was young, I used to listen to slack music because I wasn't born Rastafari. I came into Rastafari. So I have my time in a 90s dancehall. We could talk about it in the next interview.
Yeah.
You know, we're not going to do so. But I remember in the 90s, you know, when all of these girl songs and there was more male-female interaction happening in the dance. Dancehall was reaching a level, and I think we've lost some of that, and we're losing ground to Afro beats and soca now. I don't know what it's like in Jamaica, but in foreign, most of the young millennials, they only go soca and Afro beats. If you go a dancehall party, and mostly over 40 people you're going to see.
Seriously?
And you're not going to see them till 3 o'clock in the morning.
Seriously?
You could go to a dance at 2 and it be empty, you and the DJ and the caretaker in there. And by 4 o'clock it ram, you know? So these are the things. And when it ram, everybody on them phone and a pose, and you very little male, female dancing.
Yeah.
You know, we used to wind up on females when I was growing up, you know, just like in the soca party, when they move from woman to woman and a wine and you sweat up and you know what I mean? We used to do that in the 90s, you know, in dancehall.
You used to do that early 2000s. We just
we do that. We have our generation.
I kinda...
No, people just wind up on phone.
Phone, that's the thing. And if we do that and we're not conscious, because nightlife is about male-female interaction, period, point blank. So we have to do that. Let me know how we're doing on time.
Yeah.
Because
we all right?
No, we're not all right. Yeah,
right now.
It's good conversation.
Before we leave, let me plug the JMC because I've been just on so many topics.
Yeah, because I mean, what you're saying is really interesting, and
Yes.
of course, this is some of the things that we expect to get, and
Yes,
I mean,
at the JMC,
learning more.
Exactly.
and I'm gonna be very close with them. They're gonna bring me back. They don't know that yet, but they're gonna bring me back, and we're gonna build
speak it in the beam, man.
Yes,
I would say
sir.
holy more could have talked about.
Relationship is gonna build. We're gonna have them at JMC every year doing something, because even as media press, you guys need to be in the building, just period. You know what I mean? And you'll learn a lot just in terms of where to take your thing and get the different links and make more people aware about what you're doing. JMC February 13th to the 16th, Courtley Auditorium. We have the Youth Summit that we're starting, which is not open to the public. We're expecting over 400 youths from different high schools. We always start with youth activation. Leela Ike, Ding Dong, Kamar Haikon, Amber Lee will be there. A lot of different artists just talking to the youths about their journey. Jaria will also be doing a presentation. Jamaica Reggae Industry Association, one of our partners from the beginning. Thursday evening at Itopia Life, one of our sponsors will be having our welcome reception. We'll have YouTube, Pandora, Audiomac, all of these big foreign companies in the house.
We have to be there.
So make sure you're there. We'll be honoring Shaggy and Kool Herc at that reception. The First Coast, the Jamaican hip hop man, then will be performing, showing Kool Herc say hip hop is alive and well in Jamaica. The council all them Monday. Friday morning early, make sure you're in the Courtley 10 o'clock for our streaming panel. Again, all of those streaming services will be doing their presentation. Then we have the Mainstream Dreams, Shawnee B from BBC Extra, Specs the Boss from G98 in Toronto. We have Papa Keith, big radio presenter in Florida. Many more panels all day, one-on-one with Kool Herc on Friday. Saturday, we have the Media Matters panel, which will feature the great Nightly Fix. So don't miss that. Also, Rhythm Magazine, Love Lot Likes Jamaica, and some other panelists. And it's going to be moderated by Irie Jam Media from out of New York, the biggest platform for Caribbean entertainment in the tri-state. We also will end that day with a one-on-one with Shaggy. Then we go up to Skyline levels for the Jamnesia Showcase featuring Kabaka Pyramid, Ibamar, hold on, Nomads.
Which one of the eyes?
Nomads. We just get a little free Savannah, Jazzalese. It's going to be whole heap of vibes. Make sure you're there. It will sell off. It will be packed. So make sure you come early. Sunday, we have the beach day, Wiki Waki beach. We're going to have panels.
Wow.
We're going to have the art of the interview with Winford Williams, who's going to just take people through the same thing we said, doing proper interview form and all of these things. So just go to the jmceffect.com so you can hear all of the schedule. You can see all of the panelists. You can follow us across all social media, The JMC Effect. I want to just thank you all for having me here.
No.
My new brethren and sister and Javi over there so too.
And we have to say thank you as well
Yeah, we
for
appreciate
even
it.
inviting
Reaching
us
out.
to be a part of this. Something that we've spoken about amongst ourselves that we don't really get love from. At least we don't feel like we get love from people here.
Yes.
You know, in the space. We usually get love more from people overseas.
Yes.
It's the first time we really get invited to be a part of something like this, and we're grateful. I want to take it for granted.